Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird.
Robert Duell.
Fuego here.
Here to do a comic review for you guys, but this is a different sort of comic review. This isn't something that we seeked out. This is something that was actually brought to us.
Yes.
A viewer reached out and said, hey, I see you guys do comic book reviews. We have something that we think would be up your alley, and they sent it to us to review, and that is this book called Bottomfeeder. And it's definitely an interesting book. We'll get into the details, but as you can see here, it's definitely got some creature aspects to it. It's kind of a noir detective story.
Indeed.
But then the back of the book paints another picture where it's
a little more accurate of what we get inside.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
The intertwining of creature and naked lady is kind of the more prominent thing that's just not featured on the cover.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this, though, I will say, is that the trade paperback came
Yeah.
with its own soundtrack,
Yeah.
which
And
had
honestly-
it had about 3 songs that were score, and then about 3 songs that were
Yeah.
actual music.
And they were
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
I will say that.
I was listening
pretty
to
solid.
it while I was reading it, and I'm
Which
like,
is
this
the
is cool.
intention,
And
I
then
would
3
imagine.
songs into it, it goes into like
Actual singing
and stuff, and I'm
that's
like,
where-
ah.
Yeah, and that's where when there's other words while I'm trying to read different words, that's where it throws off a little bit. But the score, I mean, definitely
Listening
added
to
that
it,
sense of
though-
ambiance, which was necessary.
Yeah, listening to those on its own I definitely found it to probably be a little bit more enjoyable.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
Cool.
And again, proper credit where credit's due. We have it is by Stephen Romano and Pat Carbajal.
Yeah.
And based on a story by Sean Lewis and Joseph Melendez Jr. And introduction by Joe R. Lansdale.
And I think Sean Lewis was the one that actually contacted us.
Okay.
correct? Yeah, because he sent me an email, if I'm not mistaken, and I
It's
know
entirely
he contacted
possible.
you. Well, and then
I
Lansdale.
don't remember at this point.
Well, and then Lansdale is notorious because he's the one who did Bubba Hotep,
Yep.
and so yeah.
yeah, he actually just
Here's,
had
here's a
one
little
of the-
poster that came with it as well.
Lansdale actually just did a story in one of the. It's called Nights of the Living Dead, the anthology that just came out. It's all set within the first like 24, kind of 48 hours or so of the Night of the Living Dead outbreak.
Oh, no, the
The
Romero.
Romero,
verse.
yeah.
Okay.
So our, Lansdale did a story on that and everything. It was pretty good.
He also
it was
had
pretty
a-
damn good.
Yeah, he also had an episode in the
right,
most
well, it's
recent
not about
season
Joe
of
Orlando.
Creed.
No,
Come
no,
on.
I'm just saying.
Getting way distracted.
Sorry.
All right. So, guys, we need to get into the book, and what I will say, I'm gonna, if we do overall thoughts, I'm gonna start with the positives, which are the artwork is fantastic.
It's bonkers
The
good.
creature work is fantastic. But I gotta be honest, the book itself wasn't really for me. I love a good creature story. I'm not as into noir detective stories.
Which I do like, personally.
And I just think this one missed the mark in a couple of places for me. The main character is someone that I just, quite frankly, didn't enjoy reading. I didn't enjoy reading about him. I didn't enjoy reading his exploits. I certainly didn't enjoy how he treated a lot of different characters.
Women.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say it. This is a very misogynistic book.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that they were purposely trying to make the character that way. We're not saying that the creators are misogynistic.
No. But
The character was written very misogynistically, and it just didn't jive with me very much. So overall, the creature and the artwork stuff were fantastic, but the story itself left a little to be desired, in my personal opinion.
Basically, again, it's going to be kind of an echo thing. Yeah, I'm right there with Cecil. The artwork, the creature design, and everything, that was awesome. Like it with being a black and white book and everything, especially with the detail, it's still so crisp. Like you look at that. Like it's still very, very nicely done.
Yeah.
But there's more elements out of the story and the characters that I couldn't get behind. They're more often than not, like, and I even was talking with them off camera. I really found myself not caring about all of the characters except for maybe the innocent ones that get caught in the crossfire.
Of which there are many.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. But our
and
main
they're not even so innocent in a lot of ways.
to a point. Our innocent.
I can't even show some of the super gory scenes because there's nudity
there's-
interwoven
yeah.
throughout it.
Yeah.
Indeed. This is most definitely like a beyond R-rated. This is like
this would be rated X.
Yeah, this would be an
X-rated,
X-rated and everything.
100%.
But other than that, like graphically, like for the gore and things like that, it's an A+.
I didn't
It
catch on
definitely
to the
is.
fact that it was ripping up a Confederate flag in that particular.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
there's, in the second issue, if I'm not mistaken, there's those like supremacist assholes that get all decapitated and sliced up. So, I mean, most of the death and carnage, it's like, it's mobsters, it's corrupt
Yeah.
corporate people, it's
And
hookers.
I
I mean, honestly, I would say women get it the worst in this book, which
Yeah.
is something that's the bit that I'm going to echo chamber you guys that I had the most issue seeing
Yeah,
because
it's-
that's sort of carnage. I mean, you made the comparison humanoids from the deep.
Yeah,
There's-
like this part served no
monster-
purpose to the story.
There's a lot of monster rape in this.
Lots of
and-
monster rape, monster
Yeah.
on human rape.
Yeah, monster
Yeah.
on human rape.
And like, granted, like with like humanoids and everything, it's like, granted, there was a lot of it, but there was still a purpose.
nowhere
of it
near
for,
as much or as graphically. as
True.
this.
Well, it's not
But-
just rape.
But it's the service to the story. It's like, does it actually mean anything to the story? It didn't in this. At
No,
all.
they take it an extra level too, where as it's raping, it's exuding an acid. So
Yeah.
it's literally melting the victim from the inside while it's doing it. It's like,
Yeah.
why do you need to add that on top of it? It's just like, it's already horrible enough.
Well, and then in turn, like slicing off part of the head at
Uh-huh.
times too, when that's going down and stuff. But I mean, story-wise, really, just to give the context about that,
Please.
after we've given so much. So we have our main detective. He's a drug addict. He is corrupt in league with some nefarious peeps, and he's looking the other way at some stuff that has been going down with some toxic waste that is going into this river system, and that's basically what sets the story in motion. Of there's a perp that gets knocked into the water, comes back as this big mutated creature, but he's not the only one. There's also like fish that are coming out mutated. I mean, really, and it spreads throughout the entirety of the city as the carnage
Literally, the
continues
character
going
from
down.
Maniac is in the. You guys watched Maniac, the original
Yeah.
'70s
Oh
one?
yeah,
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 that's
and
him.
that's another
I
book
didn't-
that these guys
wow,
have done,
okay.
from what
Yeah.
Sean
I
was
didn't-
saying.
I
Yeah.
didn't put
which
that
I'm,
together,
Which
no.
I'm curious to check out.
Huh.
Yeah, and so from there, I mean, it's just really, as I said, the comeuppance and just the karmic aspect.
The
of
what
all of
uppance?
the what uppance, yeah, whatever. It's
I'm just.
Yeah.
Come up and come on.
No.
It's a book about rape. That was a good joke.
yeah.
Continue.
And I mean, there are a couple law enforcement people that have to team up with our crooked guy as
Oh,
they're
a
trying
page
to
of violence
I mean,
without
the-
rape. I can show this one.
Yeah, as the other female detective, or I'm trying to remember if she's actually like it's like above him power wise, or just
I
on
believe
the same
so.
level or
I
whatever.
believe so, but I
if
think
she's
I
a
want to
sup-
say
if
she's
a
also
superior
investigating
or not.
him.
Yeah, well,
So-
yeah, she's suspicious of,
So,
about
yeah,
the fact that
suspicious, yeah.
some of his ties and whatnot. But yeah, there's just so
Like
much
that
stuff.
scene was pretty fucking cool. Like
There's
the
some-
birth scene.
Yeah, there's a couple
Nice.
birth scenes that are very reminiscent of Aliens in this
Yeah.
too. In a lot of ways, it's like Sin City meets The Thing with a sprinkle of Alien in there. And I will say, I did like a lot of the internal dialogue, almost like narration sort of stuff that starts out every issue and also ends a lot of them, including the final issue. There's a twist at the end that, I mean, we had mixed opinions about without really, because we're not trying to spoil this obviously, but really for me,
Like, it's definitely
even-
worth a gander.
It's
Yeah,
a cool creature shot, so I'm going to
Yeah,
show that.
yeah. There you go.
and that's once again back to the artwork. The artwork is
It's
the selling
phenomenal.
point here, 100%, and that's not to just trounce the story. It's just certain beats happen over and over again. It's just like, oh, these nefarious pieces of crap are going to get killed in a grisly fashion, and we're going to have more sex going down that gets interrupted by creatures.
Your
and we
character
just
is
really,
overly misogynistic. We're gonna have him do it again and
Yeah.
again, and it's like
Punching out the
it wasn't
reporter.
fun the first time. Why do I
Yeah.
need to see it 3 more times?
Well, and it's also meta in that particular spot where they're talking about, have you ever read any comics lately? Some of them are really effed up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we got the
you
little
can't
meta,
be that
the
meta
the
about
meta
it.
nod. So, any other
Nah,
thoughts,
that's
guys?
as much as I really have to say
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
if you guys are
sorry.
into the artwork of it,
Yeah.
it's definitely worth checking out. If you don't mind those aspects of the story, again, the story is built around it, so it's consistent
Yeah.
in its telling of the story, but that version of the telling of the story just wasn't for me personally.
Yeah, it's like more evil versus evil, but less evil, kind of, I guess. I don't
Who's
know.
the lesser evil of the evil is evil?
What?
I don't know.
You guys don't make any sense.
well, I mean, almost like in From Dusk Till Dawn, you've got these murderers going
Yeah.
after even worse creatures than them.
But that was
so to
fun.
speak.
This doesn't have the fun aspect.
I was
of
just
that.
making
that's
like
what- but
how
that's the
I can
thing.
compare it.
The piece of shit nature of this guy going up against the creature, it's still, but even still though, you didn't have that give a shit even about the
No,
characters.
not
That's
at
the
all.
thing, because they were
He had no
they were
redeemable
so
qualities.
no, exactly, because they were such horrible characters. You didn't feel bad for anybody.
No.
Daddy.
Didn't feel for anyone. So, I mean, you know, again, to me, I'm definitely glad I have it because the artwork
Absolutely.
is so fantastic. But
Yeah.
it's probably not one I'm going to revisit a whole lot.
Well, and this
But
is,
if it sounds up your alley, definitely check it out.
yeah, this is one that I have a lot of, you know, friends that would probably be much more into this, you know, than I personally was. So, and that's not to knock it, obviously. Different, you know, art is subjective, as we always say here on the Horror Show.
So, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
Gracias, Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.